Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare 2020 LA. Shakespeare 2020 LA is the Los Angeles division of Shakespeare Project 2020, a worldwide challenge created by Ian Desher to read the entire Shakespeare canon in 2020. Shakespeare 2020 is comprised of Los Angeles local professional actors. We meet as a group to read and workshop the plays, in addition to performing staged readings at LA public libraries, which we look forward to resuming when we're able to gather again in person. Our players today are Jason Rennie, Martin Hillier, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Sasha Venn, Megan Wells, Ron Dorn, Cameron Prince, Chris Klein, Jessica Dahlgren, Jen O'Brien, and I'm Mary Carrick. Just a few notes about Pericles and Shakespeare's observations on father-daughter relationships. Pericles is chock-loaded with a how-to be a good or a bad father or parents. The king of Antioch contrives a cooked-up riddle contest for his daughter's potential suitors. Pericles deciphers the riddle and realizes that the horrible secret, spoiler alert, that the king has an incestuous relationship with his daughter. He hightails it to the high seas when the king puts a price on his head. Portia's father in The Merchant of Venice cooked up a similar contest. No incest there, but whoever incorrectly guesses must vow to live a life of celibacy. The poor but noble-hearted Bassanio is up to the task, even though it might cost his best friend a pound of his flesh. The evil king of Antioch, another spoiler alert, gets his in the end, and Pericles offers another good, bad parenting profile. Cleon's wife, think the innkeeper's wife in Les Mis, promises to care for Pericles' daughter, Marina, then plots her murder when she feels that her own daughter is second fiddle to Marina for suitors. Think evil, killer, cheerleader moms. Shakespeare borrowed stories from other sources, and the Hallmark Channel lifts many of his. Good and evil battle it out. Many step in to help the Pericles family, and even the brothel owner Pander and his wife Baud are persuaded by Marina to alter their ways, considering that the pace of their mom-and-pop shop one-stop brothel might be too much work for their retirement years. Pericles is loaded with lessons on human behavior and family dynamics. Dig in, settle back, and keep score. Foreshadowing of tempestuous seas are coming. Thank you for tuning in for William Shakespeare's Pericles.
To sing a song that old was sung, from ashes ancient Gower is come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, on ember eves and holy days, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it for restoratives. The purchase is to make men glorious, et bonum quo antiquius eo melius. If you, born in these latter times, when wits more ripe, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring. I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This Antioch then, Antiochus the Great, built this city for his chiefest seat, the fairest in all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say. This king unto him took a peer, who died and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of face, as heaven had lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and to her incest did provoke. Bad child, worse father, to entice his own to evil should be done by none. But custom, what they did begin, was with long use accounted no sin. The beauty of this sinful dame made many princes thither frame, to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasures playfellow. Which to prevent, he made a law to keep her still, and men in awe, that whoso asked her for his wife, his riddle told not, lost his life. So, for her many a wit did die, as yon grim looks do testify. What now ensues, to the judgment of your eye, I give my cause, who best can justify. Act 1, Scene
Now
1.
sleep,
Enter Antiochus, Prince
no
Pericles,
king but snores
and
about the house, made louder by the o'erfed
Young
press
Prince of Tyre,
this most
you have
pompous marriage
at large
feast.
received the danger of the
cat with
task
eyne of
you
burning
undertake.
coal now
I
couches
have,
from the
Antiochus,
mouse's hole,
with a soul
and
emboldened
crickets
with the
sing
glory
at
of
the
her
oven's
praise.
mouth,
Think death no
while the
hazard in this
blinder
enterprise.
for their drought.
Music.
Hymen hath
Bring in
brought
our
the
daughter, clothed
bride
like
to
a
bed,
bride, for
where,
embracements
by
even
the
of
loss
Jove
maidenhead,
himself,
a
at
babe
whose
is
conception,
moulded.
till
Be
Lucina reigned,
By many a
nature
dern
this
and
dowry
painful
gave.
church, of
To glad her
Pericles
presence,
the careful
the
search,
Senate House
by
of
the four
planets
opposing
all did
coins,
sit to
which
knit
the
in their
world
best
together
perfections.
joins, is made with all due diligence, that horse
See
and
where she
sail at
comes,
high expense
apparelled like the
speed
spring,
quest.
graces her
At
subjects, and her
last from
thoughts the
Tyre,
king of every
fame
virtue
answering
gives
the
renown to
strange,
men.
most strange
Her
inquire,
face the book of
to the
praises,
court of
where
King
is read nothing but curious
Simonides our
pleasures,
letters
as from
brought.
thence
The
sorrow
10
were
of
ever
these,
raised, and
Antiochus
testy
and his
wrath could
daughter
never be
dead,
her mild
the
companion.
men of Tyrus on the head
You
of
gods that made me
Hyrcanus
man, and
would
sway
set
in love,
on the
that
crown
have
of
inflamed
Tyre,
desire
but
in my
he
breast
will
to
none.
taste the fruit
The
of yon
mutiny he
celestial
there
tree,
hast
or
to
die in the
oppress,
adventure. Be my
says
help,
to
as I
if
am
King
son and
Pericles
servant to
come
your
not
will,
home
to
in
compass such a
twice 6
boundless
moons,
happiness.
he obedient
Prince
to their dooms
Pericles,
will
That would
take
be
the
son to
crown.
great Antiochus.
The sum of this brought
before
hither
thee
to
stands this
Pentapolis,
fair
why
Hesperides,
ravished
with
the regions
golden fruit,
round,
but
and
dangerous to
everyone
be
with
touched.
claps can
For
sound,
death-like
our heir
dragons here
apparent is a
affright thee
king.
hard.
Who
Her
dreamt,
face
who
like heaven
thought of such
entice
a
thee to
thing?
view her
Brief,
countless
he must
glory,
hence depart to
which
Tyre.
desert
His queen
must
with
gain,
child makes her
and which
desire,
without
which
desert,
who shall cross?
because
A
thine
long
eye
journey,
presume to reach
amid
all the
their
whole
dole and
heap,
woe.
must
Like
die.
Cordia, their nurse, she takes,
Yon
and so to see. Their
famous
vessel shakes
princes,
on
like thyself,
Neptune's
drawn
billow.
by report,
Half the flood
adventurous by
hath
desire,
their keel cut.
tell
But
thee with
fortune
speechless
moved
tongues and
varies
semblance
again.
pale
The
that
grizzled
without
north
covering
disgorges
save
such a
yon
tempest
field of
forth,
stars,
that as
here
a
they
duck for
stand
life that
martyrs,
dives,
slain
so
in
up and
Cupid's
down the poor
wars.
ship drives.
And
The
with
lady
dead cheeks
shrieks,
advise thee to
and well
desist,
and ne'er
for
does
going
fall
on
in
death's
travail
net,
with her
whom none
fear.
resist.
And what ensues in
Antiochus, I
this
thank thee,
fell
who have taught
storm
my
shall
frail
for itself
mortality to know
itself
itself,
perform.
and by
I
those
nil
fearful
relate,
objects to
action
prepare
may
this body like to
conveniently
them to
the
what I
rest
must.
convey,
For
which
death,
might
remembered,
not
should be like a
by
mirror
me
who tells
is
us life's
told.
but breath. To trust
In
it,
your
error.
imagination hold this
I'll make my will
stage,
then,
the ship
and as sick
upon
men
whose
do
deck
who know the
the
world,
sea-tossed
see heaven, but
Pericles
feeling
appears
woe,
to
gripe
speak.
not at earthly joys as
Act
erst they
3,
did.
Scene 1.
So I bequeath
Enter
a happy peace to
Pericles,
you
a
and
ship.
all good men, as every prince should do.
The god
My
of this
riches to
great
the earth
vast
from whence
rebuke
they
these
came.
surges which wash both heaven
Man's
and
spotted
hell.
fire of love.
And thou
and
that
hate.
hast upon the wind's command
Thus
bind
ready
them in
for the way
brass,
of life
having
or
called
death,
them from
I
the
wait
deep.
the sharpest blow.
Oh, still thy deafening
Scorning
dreadful
advice,
thunders
read the
gently
conclusion
quench thy
then, which
nimble
read and
sulphurous
not
flashes.
expounded, tis
Oh,
decreed.
how, Lycordia, how does
As
thy
these
queen?
before thee thou
Then, storm
thyself shall
venomously, wilt thou
bleed.
spit all thyself?
Of all thou
The seaman's
sayest,
whistle
yet
is a
mayest
whisper
thou
in the ears
prove
of death
prosperous.
unheard. Lycordia!
Of all say it,
Lucina,
yet
oh,
I wish
divinest
thee
patroness and
happiness.
midwife, gentle to those that cry by
Like
night.
a bold champion,
Convey
I
thy
assume the
deity aboard our
lists,
dancing
nor
boat.
ask
Make
advice
swift
of
the
any
pangs
other
of my
thought
queen's
but
travails.
faithfulness. of
Now,
courage.
Lycordia!
Here is a thing too young for such
I am
a
no
place,
viper, yet I
who, if
feed
I
on mother's
had
flesh,
conceit,
which
would
did
die,
me
as I
breed.
am like to do.
I sought a
Keep in your
husband
arms
in
this
which
peace
labor
of
I
your
found that
queen.
kindness in a father.
How,
He's
Lycordia?
father, son, and husband
Patience,
mild.
good sir.
I,
Do not
mother,
assist
wife,
the
and yet his
storm.
child.
Here's all that is
How
left
they may
living of your
be and
queen,
yet
a
in
little
two,
daughter.
as you will live,
For the sake of it,
resolve
be
it, you.
manly and take comfort.
Sharp physic is the last.
Gods! Why do you make
you
us love
powers
your goodly
that gives
gifts and
heaven
snatch
countless
them
eyes
straight
to
away?
view men's acts?
We
Why
here below
cloud they
recall
not their
not
sights
what we give, and
perpetually,
therein
if
they
this be
use
true,
honor
which
with
makes
you.
me pale to read it?
Patience, good
Fair
sir,
glass of
even
light,
for this charge.
I loved you, and could still, were not this
Now
glorious
mild
casket
may be thy
stored
life.
with ill. But I must tell you now my thoughts revolt, for he's no man on whom perfections wait, that knowing sin within will touch the gate. You are a fair viol, and your sense the strings who, fingered to make man his lawful music, would draw heaven down and all the gods to hearken. But being played upon before your time, hell only danceth at so harsh a chime. Good sooth, I care not for you. Gods throw their best eyes upon
Prince Pericles, touch not upon thy life,
God save you.
for that's an
Courage enough.
article
I do
within
not
our
fear the
law as
flaw.
dangerous
It
as
has
the
done
rest.
to me the worst.
Your
But for the
time's
love of this
expired.
poor infant, this
Either
huge
expound
seafarer,
now or
it
receive
would
your
be
sentence.
quiet.
Slack the bowlines
Great
there.
king.
Thou wilt not, wilt thou?
Few
Blow
love
and
to
split
hear the
thyself.
sins they love to act.
See room,
To braid
and
yourself
the
too near
brine
for
and
me to tell.
cloudy billow kiss the moon.
Who has
I
a book
care
of
not.
all that monarchs do?
Sir,
He's more
your
secure to
queen
keep it
must
shut than
overboard.
shown.
The sea works high, the
For
wind
vice
is
repeated
loud,
is like the
and will not
wandering
lie
wind,
till the
blows
ship be cleared
dust
of
in
the
others'
dead.
eyes
That's
to
your
spread itself.
superstition.
And yet
Pardon
the end
us,
of all
sir.
is bought
With us
thus
at sea
dear.
it hath been still
Breath
observed
is gone,
that we are strong
and the
in
sore
custom.
eyes see clear to
Therefore
stop the
briefly
air
yield
would
her,
hurt
for she
them.
must
The
overboard.
blind mole
Straight.
casts copped hills towards heaven, to tell the earth is thronged by man's oppression, and the poor
Here she
worm doth die
lies,
for it.
sir.
Kings are earth's gods. In vice their laws their will. And if Jove straight, who dares say Jove doth thee utterly? Nor have I enough to give thee hallowed to thy grave, and it is fit, what being more known, scarcely coffined in the to smother it. Where for a monument all love the womb that there first being bred, then give my tongue like leave to love my head.
Thy corpse, lying
Heaven.
with simple shells.
That I had
Oh,
thy
I
head,
court you.
he has found the
Nestor, bring me
meaning,
spices,
but I will
ink, and paper.
gloss with him.
My casket and my
Young
jewels.
Prince of
Bid my
Tyre,
candor bring me the
though
seven.
by the tenor of
Lay the
our
babe upon
strict
the pillow.
edict your
Hide thee
exposition
whilst I say a priestly
misinterpreted,
farewell to her. Suddenly,
we
woman,
might proceed to cancel of your
Sir,
days, yet
we have a
hope
chest beneath the
succeeding from
hapless,
so
cockle,
fair a tree
tuned ready.
as your fair
thank
self
thee, Mary.
doth tune us otherwise.
say, what coast is this?
40 days
Many
longer
parsecs.
we do respite you,
Thither,
if
gentle
by
Mary.
which time our
Alter thy
secret be
course for
undone,
Tyre.
this mercy,
Whence canst thou
mercy
reach it?
shows will joy in
At break
such a
of day,
sun.
if wind cease.
Oh, make
How
for
courtesy
Tontus.
would
There
seem
will
to
I visit
cover
Cleon.
sin when what
The
is
babe
done is
cannot
like
hold
an
out to
hypocrite,
Tyrus.
the which
Thereof
is good
will
in
be
nothing
careful
but in
nursing.
sight.
Go thy ways, good mariner.
If it be true that I
I'll bring
interpret
the body
false,
presently.
and were it certain you were not so bad as with foul incest to abuse your soul,
Be seen to.
where now you're both a
Seashore,
father and a son,
Ephesus.
by your
Enter,
untimely
Lord,
claspings
Cerimon
with your child,
with two
which
sons.
pleasures fits a husband, not a father, and she an eater of her mother's
Philemon,
flesh,
ho!
by the defiling of her parents'
Doth
bed,
my lord call?
and both like serpents
Get
are,
fire and
who,
meat for
though
these
they
poor
feed
men.
on sweetest
It's
flowers,
been
yet they
a
poison
turbulent and stormy night.
Antioch, farewell.
I have
For
been
wisdom
in many,
sees
but
those
such
men
night as
blush
this
not in
till
actions
now I
blacker
ne'er
than the night,
endured.
will shew no
The
course to
master
keep
will
them
be
from
dead
the
ere
light.
you return.
One sin
There's
I
nothing
know,
can be
another doth
ministered to
provoke.
nature that
Murder's
can
as near
recover
to
him.
lust as flame to
Give this
smoke.
to the apothecary and tell
Poison
me
and
how it
treason are
works.
the hands of sin, aye, and the targets to put off the shame. Then
Good
must
morrow
my
to your
life be
lordship.
cropped to keep you clear. By flight I'll shun the
Gentlemen,
danger
why
which I
do you
fear.
stir so early?
Sir, our lodgings standing bleak upon the sea shook
He has
as the
found the
earth
meaning
did quake.
for which
The
we
very
mean
principles did
to
seem
have
to
his head.
rend and alter topple.
He must
Pure
not live to
surprise
trumpet
and
forth
fear
my
made me to quit
infamy.
the house.
Now I tell the world
That is the cause we trouble you
Antiochus
so
doth
early. 'Tis
sin
not
in
our
such a
husbandry.
loathed manner. Oh, say you
Well,
well. Therefore,
But I much
instantly
marvel that your
this prince
lordship,
must
having
die.
rich Tyre about you, should
For
at
by his
these
fall
early
my
hours
honor
shake off the
must
golden
keep
slumber
high.
of repose. 'Tis most
Who attends
strange
there?
nature should be so conversant.
Doth your
with
highness
pain,
call?
being thereto
Valued.
not compelled.
You are of our chamber.
I hold that
ever
Valiant,
virtue and cunning were
and our mind
endowments
partakes
greater
of
than
private
nobleness
actions
and
to your
riches.
secrecy.
Careless
And
heirs
for your
may the
faithfulness
two
we will
latter
advance
darken
you,
and expand.
Valiant.
But immortality attends
Behold,
the former.
here's
making
poison,
a man a god.
and
Tis
here's
known
gold.
I ever have studied physic. Through
We
which
hate the
secret
Prince
art
of Tyre,
turning
and thou
o'er
must kill him.
authorities I have.
It
together
fits
with
thee
my
not to ask the
practice,
reason why,
made
because
familiar
we
to me
bid it.
and to my aid. the
Say it is
blessed
done?
infusions that
My lord,
dwells in
'tis done.
vegetables, in
Enough.
metal, in stones, and can speak of disturbances.
Let your breath
that
cool
nature
yourself,
works,
telling your
and of
haste.
her cure,
My lord,
which doth
Prince
give me
Pericles is
a
fled.
more content in
As thou
course
wilt
of
live,
true
fly
delight.
after.
And like an arrow shot from a well-experienced archer hits the mark his eye doth level at. So thou never return unless thou say, Prince Pericles is dead.
My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So farewell to your highness.
Valliard, adieu. Till Pericles be dead, my heart can lend no succor to my head.
Act 1,
So
Scene
look
2.
there.
The kingdom of
What's
Tyre.
that?
Enter Pericles with an
Sir,
attendant.
even now did the sea toss up upon
But none
our
disturb
shoreless
us.
chest. 'Tis of some wrack.
Why
Sit
should this
down.
change of thoughts,
Let's look
the
upon
sad
it.
companion, dull-eyed
Tis like a
melancholy,
coffin, sir.
be my so used a guest as
Whate'er
not
it
an
be,
hour in the
'tis
day's glorious walk
wondrous
of
heavy,
peaceful night, the tomb
rich
where
and
grief
open
should sleep
straight.
can breed me
If
quiet?
the sea stomach
Here pleasures
be
court mine
overcharged with
eyes,
gold, 'tis
and
a
mine eyes
different
shun
sight of
them.
fortune.
And
It
danger,
belches
which I
upon
feared,
us.
is at Antioch,
'Tis so, my
whose arm
lord.
seems far too
How
short to hit me
close
here.
'tis caught
Neither
in
pleasure's
return.
art can joy my
Did the
spirits, nor
sea
yet the
cast
other's
it up?
distance comfort me.
I never saw so huge a billow,
And it is
sir,
thus.
as tossed it
The
upon
passions of the
shore.
mind that have their first
Wretched
conception
open,
by misdread have after
soft,
nourishment and life by
It
care.
smells most
And what was
sweetly in
first
my
but fear,
sense,
what might be done grows
delicate
elder
odor.
now, and cares it be not done.
as ever hit my
And so
nostril.
with me,
So
the great Antiochus,
up with it.
against whom I am too little to contend, since he so great can make his will his
Oh,
act,
you most
will think me
potent
speaking, though I
gods.
swear to silence.
What's here?
Nor boots it me to say I honor him,
Of
if he suspect I
course.
may dishonor him.
Most strange.
And what may make him blush in being known?
Shrouded in
He'll
cloth
stop the
of
course by
state,
which it might be known.
Balmed and
With
entreasured
hostile
with
forces he'll
full
o'erspread
bags
the
of
land,
spices.
and with the astent of war
A
will look so
passport
huge,
too.
amazement shall drive courage from the state.
Apollo.
Our men be vanquished ere they do
perfectly in the
resist,
characters.
and subjects punished that ne'er thought offense. Which
Here
care of them, not
I
pity
give
of
to
myself,
understand
who am
if
no more
e'er
but as the
this
tops of
coffin
trees, which
drives
fence the
a
roots
land,
they grow by and defend them.
I,
Makes
King
both my body
Pericles,
pine and soul
have
to
lost
languish,
this queen,
and punish that before that he would
worth
punish.
all her mundane cost.
Joy and all comfort in your sacred breast.
Who finds her,
And keep your
give
mind
her
till you
burial.
return to us, peaceful and
She was the
comfortable.
daughter
Peace,
of a
peace,
king.
and give experience tongue.
Besides
They
this
do
treasure
abuse the king
full
that
of
flatter
food,
him. For flattery is
the
the
gods
bellows,
requite
blows up
his
sin.
charity.
The thing that which is flattered, but a spark,
Thou livest,
to which that wind gives
Pericles,
heat
thou
and
hast a heart
stronger
that
glowing.
ever cracks
Whereas
small.
reproof, obedient and in
This
order,
chanced
fits
tonight.
kings as they
Most
are
likely,
men,
sir.
for they may err.
Nay,
When Signor
certainly
Sooth here
tonight.
doth proclaim peace,
But
he
look how
flatters you,
fresh
makes
she
war
looks.
upon your life. Prince,
They were
pardon
two
me, or
roughs that
strike me if
threw
you
her in the
please.
sea.
I cannot be much lower
Make a
than my
fire
knees.
within. Fetch hither all my boxes.
I'll
and my
leave us
chests.
else, but let your
Death
cares
may
o'erlook
usurp
what
on
shipping
nature
and what
many
ladings in
hours,
our
and
haven,
yet the
and then
fire
return
of
to
life
us.
kindle again. Though oppressed
Lucanus,
spirits.
thou hast moved us. What seest thou in our looks?
I heard of an Egyptian
angry brow,
that had
dread
9
Lord.
hours lain dead.
If there be such a dart
Who
in
was
princes'
by
frowns,
good
how durst thy tongue
appliance
move anger to our
recovered.
face?
How dares the plants look up to
Well
heaven,
said,
from
well
whence they
said.
have their nourishment?
The fire and cloth.
Thou knowest I have power to
the
take thy
rough and
life from
woeful
thee.
music that
I have
we
ground the axe
cause it to
myself, but do
sound.
you strike the
Beseech you.
blow?
Rise, prithee
The
rise.
viola.
Sit down, thou art no flatterer. I thank thee for't, and heaven forbid that kings should let their ears hear their faults hid. Fit counselor and servant
The
for a
viola
prince,
once more.
who by thy wisdom makes a prince
How
thy
thou
servant. What wouldst
stirred
thou have me
proud
do?
block.
To bear with patience
music
such
there.
griefs as you yourself do lay upon yourself.
Thou speakst
I
like
pray
a
you,
physician,
gentlemen, give her
Helicanus, that ministers a potion unto me, that
Gentlemen,
thou wouldst tremble to
this
receive
queen
thyself.
will live. Nature wakes
Attend
a
me, then.
warm breath out of her.
I
She
went to
hath
Antioch,
not been
where, as thou knowest,
entranced.
against the
About
face of
5
death, I sought the
hours. See
purchase
how
of a glorious
she gains
beauty
to
from whence
blow
an issue I might
into her
propagate.
life's flower
Our arms to
again.
princes and bring joys to
Heavens
subjects.
through you
Her
increase
face
our
was
wonder,
to mine eye beyond
and sets
all
up your
wonder.
fame forever.
The rest, hark in thine
She
ear,
is alive.
as black as incest,
Behold her
which by
eyelids.
my knowledge found the
Cases
sinful
to those
father
heavenly
seemed not
jewels
to
which
strike, but
Pericles
smooth.
hath lost.
But thou knowst
Begins
this,
to part their
'tis
fringes
time
of
to
bright
fear when
gold.
tyrant seems to
The
kiss.
diamonds of a most praised
Which fear so
water
grew in
doth
me, I
appear
hither fled,
to make
under the covering
world
of
twice
careful night,
rich.
who seemed my good protector. And
Live
being
and
here,
make us weep
bethought
to
me
hear
what
your
was
fate,
past, what
fair
might
creature.
succeed.
Rare
I knew him
as you
tyrannous,
seem
and
to
tyrants'
be.
fears decrease not, but grow faster than the years. And should he doubt, as no doubt he doth, that I should open to the listening air how many
Where am
worthy
I?
princes' bloods were shed to keep his
Where's
bed of
my lord?
blackness unlaid ope, To lop that
world
doubt,
is
he'll
this?
fill this land with
Is
arms
not
and
this
make pretense
strange?
of wrong that I have done
Most
him.
rare.
When all for
Hush,
mine,
my gentle neighbors.
I may call it
Lend me your
offense,
hands.
must
To the
feel
next
war's
chamber
blow, who
bear
spares
her.
not
Get
innocence,
linen.
which love
Now
to
this
all,
matter must
of which
be
thyself
looked
art
to,
one,
for
who now
relapse is
reproves
mortal.
me for it.
Come,
Alas,
come,
sir.
and Asclepius,
Drew sleep
guide
out of
us.
mine eyes, blood from my cheeks, musings into my mind, with thousand doubts how I might stop this tempest ere it came,
Act 3,
and finding
scene
little
4.
comfort to
Enter
relieve them.
Pericles at
I
Tarsus,
thought it princely charity to
Cleon,
grieve for them.
and Dionysa,
Well, my lord,
and Lycordia with the
since you
child.
have given me leave to speak, freely
Most
will
honored
I
Cleon,
speak.
I must needs be
Antiochus
gone.
you fear,
My
and
12 months
justly
are
too,
expired,
I
and Tyre
think. You
stands in
fear the
anticipacy.
tyrant, who either
You
by
and your lady
public
take from
war
my
or
heart all
private
thankfulness.
treason will
The
take
gods
away
make
your
up the rest
life.
upon me.
Therefore, my lord,
Shakes
go
a
travel
portion,
for a
though they
while,
haunt you
till that his
mortally,
rage
yet
and anger be
glanceful
forgot,
wonderingly on
or
us.
till the destinies do cut
your
his thread of
sweet
life.
Queen,
Your
that the
rule
strict
direct to
fates
any,
had
if
pleased
to
you, had
me,
brought her
day
hither
serves not
to
light
have
more
blessed mine
faithful than I'll
eyes with
be.
her.
I do not doubt thy
Cannot but
faith.
obey the powers
But should he
above
wrong
us.
my liberties in my
That
absence?
rage and roar
We'll
as
mingle
doth the
our
sea
bloods
she
together
lies
in the earth, from whence
But
we
the end
had
must
our
be as
being
'tis.
and our birth.
My gentle babe, Marina.
Tyre,
for she was born
I
at
now
sea,
look
I
from
have
thee
named
then,
so.
and to Tarsus
Here I
intend my
charge your
travel,
charity withal,
where I'll hear
leaving
from
her
thee,
the
and
infant
by
of your
whose letters
care,
I'll dispose myself.
teaching you to give her
The
princely
care I
charm.
had and have of
She may be
subjects
mannered
good,
as she
on
is
thee
born.
I lay, whose wisdom's
Fear not,
strength
my
can
lord,
bear it.
but think your
I'll take
grace
thy word
that
for faith,
my
not ask
country
thine
with
oath.
your corn, for which the
Who
people's
shuns not to
prayers
break
still
one
fall
will
upon
crack
you,
both.
must in your
But in our
child
orbs
be
we'll live
thought
so
of.
round and
If
safe, that time
neglection
of
should
both this
therein
truth
make
shall
me
ne'er
vile,
convince.
the
Thou
common
show'st
body
a subject
by you
shine,
relieved
I,
would force
true
me to
prince.
duty. But if to that my nature
Act 1,
need
scene
spur,
3,
the
Kingdom
gods
of Tyre.
revenge it upon
Enter
me and
Thaliard
bind to
alone.
the end of generation.
I believe you. Your
So
honor and
this
your
is
goodness
Tyre,
teach me to
and this the
without your
court. Here must
Shall
I
she be
kill
married,
King
madam?
Pericles.
My bright Diana,
And if I
whom
do
we
it
honor,
not, I am
all
sure to be hanged at
unscissored shall
home.
this hair of mine remain.
'Tis dangerous.
So I shall ill.
Well, I perceive he
take
was
my
a
leave.
wise fellow, and
But
had
madam,
good discretion,
make me
that
blessed in
being
your
bid
care
to
and
ask what he
dream,
would of the
child.
king,
I have
desired
one
he
myself,
might know
who
none
shall
of
not
his
be more
secrets.
dear to my
Now I do
respect
see
than
he had some
yours,
reason
my
for it,
lord.
for if a king bid a
Madam,
man be a villain,
my thanks
he's
and
bound by
prayers.
the indenture of his oath to be
We'll
one.
bring your grace into the
Hush,
edge of the
here
shore,
comes the lords of
and
Tyre.
give you up to the masked Neptune and the gentlest wind
You
of
shall
heaven.
not need, my
I
fellow
will
peers
embrace
of
your
Tyre,
offer.
further to question
Come,
me of your
dearest madam.
king's departure.
Oh,
His
no
sealed
tears, no
commission
tears,
left in
Lycordia,
trust with
no
me
tears.
doth speak
Look to your little
sufficiently.
mistress,
He's
of whose
gone
grace
to
we may
travel.
depend hereafter.
How, the king gone?
Come, my lord.
If further yet you will be satisfied, why, as it were,
Act 3, scene
unlicensed
4,
of your loves,
Temple of
he
Diana,
would depart. I'll
Ephesus.
give some light unto you,
Enter
being at
Cerimon
Antioch,
and Thaisa.
What, from Antioch?
royal Antiochus,
Madam,
on what
this letter
cause I know
and
not,
some certain
took some
jewels
displeasure
laid
at
to you and
him,
your
at least
coffer,
he
which
judged
are
so,
at your
and
command.
doubting lest he had erred or sinned, to show
Know you
his
the
sorrow,
character?
he's corrected himself.
It is, my lord.
He puts himself into the shipman's toil, with whom each minute threatens life or death.
But
Well, I
whether
perceive
they're
I shall not be
delivered
hanged now,
by the
although
holy
I would.
gods, I cannot rightly
But since
say.
he's gone, the king's ears it must
Since King
please.
Pericles, my
He
wedded lord,
escaped
I
the
ne'er shall
land
see
to
again,
perish at the sea.
a bestial
I'll
livery
present
will I
myself.
take me to, and never more
Peace
have
to the
joy.
lords of Tyre.
Lord
Madam,
Thaliad
this
from
you
Antiochus
purpose as
is
you
welcome.
speak.
From him I
Diana's
come with
temple
message
is
unto
not
princely
distant far, where
Pericles.
you may
But
abide,
since my landing, I
till
have
your
understood
date
your
expire.
lord has betook himself to
Moreover,
unknown
if you
travels.
please, a niece
Now
of mine
message
shall
must
there
return
attend
from
you.
whence it came.
We have
My
no reason to
recompense is
desire it.
thanks,
Commend
that's
to our
all.
master, not to
Yet
us.
my goodwill
Yet
is
ere
great,
you shall
though
depart,
the
this
gift
we
small.
desire. As friends to Antioch, we may feast in Tyre.
Act 1, scene 4, Tarsus. Enter Cleon, the governor of Tarsus, with his wife, Dionysa, and others.
My Dionysa, shall we rest us here, and by relating tales of others' griefs, see if 'twill teach us to forget our own?
That were to blow at fire and hope to quench it. For who digs heels because they do aspire, throws down one mountain to cast up a higher. Oh, my distressed lord, even such our griefs are. Here they are but felt, and seen with mischief's eyes, but like to groves being topped, they higher rise.
Dionysa, who wanteth food and will not say he wants it, or can conceal his hunger till he famish. Our tongues in sorrows do sound deep our woes into into the air. Our eyes do weep till lungs fetch breath that may proclaim them louder. that if heaven slumber while their creatures want, they may awake their helpers to comfort them. I'll discourse our woes. Felt several years, and wanting breath to speak, helped me with tears.
I'll do my best, sir.
This Tarsus, for which I have the government, a city on whom plenty held full hand, for riches strewed herself e'en in the streets, whose towers bore heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers now ne'er beheld but wondered at, whose men and dames so jetted and adorned, like one another's glass to trim them by, their tables were stored full to glad the sight, and not so much to feed as on delight. All poverty was scorned, and pride so great, the name of help grew odious to repeat.
Oh, 'tis true.
Let's see what heaven can do by this our change. These mouths who but of late earth, sea, and air were all too little to content and please, although they gave their creatures in abundance, as houses are defiled for want of use. They are now starved for want of exercise. Those palates who, not yet 2 savors younger, must have inventions to delight the taste, would now be glad of bread and beg for it. Those mothers who, to nuzzle up their babes, thought not too curious, are ready now to eat those darlings whom they loved. So sharp are hunger's teeth that man and wife draw lots who first shall die to lengthen life. Here stands a lord, and there a lady weeping. Here many sink, yet those which see them fall have scarce strength left to give them burial. Is this not true?
Our cheeks and hollow eyes do witness it.
That those cities of plenty's cup and her prosperity so largely taste, with their superfluous riots hear these tears, the misery of Tarsus may be theirs.
Where's the Lord Governor?
Here, speak out thy sorrows, which thee bringst in haste, for comfort is too far to us to expect.
We have descried upon our neighboring shore a portly sail of ships have whither forward.
I thought as much. One's sorrow never comes, but brings an heir that may succeed as his inheritor, and so is ours. Some neighboring nation, taking advantage of our misery, hath stuffed the hollow vessels with their power to beat us down, the which are down already, and make a conquest of unhappy men, whereas no glory's got to overcome.
That's the least fear, for by the semblance of their white flags displayed, they bring us peace, and come to us as favorers, not foes.
Thou speaks like him untutored to repeat, who makes the fairest show means most deceit. But bring they what they will and what they can, what need we fear? The ground's the lowest, and we are halfway there. Go tell their general we attend him here to know what he comes, and whence he comes, and what he craves.
I go, my lord.
Welcome is peace, if he on peace consist. If wars, we are unable to resist.
Lord Governor, for so we hear you are, let not our ships and number of our men be like a beacon fired to maze your eyes. We have heard your miseries as far as Tyre, and seen the desolation of your streets. Nor come we to add sorrow to your tears, but to relieve them of their heavy load. And these our ships, you happily may think, are like the Trojan horse was stuffed within with bloody veins expecting overthrow, or stored with corn to make your needy bread, and give them life whom hunger starved half dead.
The gods of Greece protect you and will pray for you.
Arise, I pray you, rise. We do not look for reverence, but for love, and harborage for ourself, our ships and men.
The which, when any shall not gratify or pay you with unthankfulness and thought, be it our wives, our children's, or ourselves, the curse of heaven and men succeed their eels. Till when, the which I hope shall ne'er be seen, your grace is welcome to our town and us.
Which welcome we'll accept, feast here a while, until our stars that frown lend us to smile.
Here have you seen a mighty king, his child, Iwis, to incest bring. A better prince and benign lord that will prove awful both in deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, losing a might, a mountain gain. The good in conversation, to whom I give my benison, is still at Tarsus, where each man thinks all is writ he spec and can, and to remember what he does, build his statue to make him glorious. Good Helicane, that stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone, for others' labours, for though he strive to kill and bad, keep good alive. And to fulfill his prince's desire, sends word of all that haps in Tyre. How Haliard came full bent with sin, and had intent to murder him, and that in Tarsus was not best longer for him to make his rest. He, doing so, put forth to sea, where when men been there seldom ease, for now the wind begins to blow, thunder above and deeps below, makes such unquiet that the ship should house him safe, is racked and split, and he, good prince, having all lost, by waves from coast to coast is tossed. All perishin of men, of pelf, nay, naught escapend but himself, till fortune, tired with doing bad, threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes. What shall be next? Pardon, old Gower, this longs the text. Act 2, Scene 1. Seashore, Pentopolis. Enter Pericles wet.
Yet cease your ire, you angry stars of heaven. Wind, rain, and thunder, remember earthly man is but a substance that must yield to you, and I, as fits my nature, do obey you. Alas, the seas hath cast me on the rocks, washed me from shore to shore, and left my breath nothing to think on but ensuing death. Let it suffice the greatness of your powers to have bereft a prince of all his fortunes, and having thrown him from your watery grave, here to have death in peace is all he'll crave.
What ho, Pilch?
Ah, come and bring away the nets.
What patch breach, I say?
What say you, master?
Oh, look how thou stirrest now. Come away, or I'll fetch thee with a Wanian.
Faith, master, I am thinking of the poor men that were cast away before us even now.
Alas, poor souls, it grieved my heart to hear what pitiful cries they made to us to help them, when well a day we could scarce help ourselves.
Nay, master, I said not I as much. When I saw the purpose, how he bounced and tumbled, they say they're half fish, half flesh, a plague on them. They ne'er come, but I look to be washed, master. I marvel how the fishes live in the sea.
Why, as men do a land, the great ones eat up the little ones. I can compare our rich misers to nothing so fitly as to a whale. He plays and tumbles, driving the poor fry before him, and at last devours them all at a mouthful. Such whales have I heard on of the land, who never leave gaping till they swallowed the whole parish, church, steeple, bells, and all.
A pretty moral.
But master, if I had been the sexton, I would have been that day in Belfry.
Why, man?
Because he should have swallowed me too. And when I had been in his belly, I would have kept such a jangling of bells that he should never have left till he cast bells, steeple, church, and parish up again. But if the god King Simonides were of mind,
Simonides?
we would purge the land of these drones and rob the bee of her honey.
How from the finny subject of the sea these fishers tell the infirmities of men, and from their watery empire recollect all that may men approve or men detect. Peace be at your labor, honest fisherman.
Honest, good fellow, what's that? If it be a day fits you, search out of the calendar, and nobody look after it.
May see the sea hath cast upon your coast.
What a drunken knave was the sea to cast thee in our way.
Man whom both the waters and the wind in that vast tennis court hath made the ball for them to play upon, entreats you to pity him. He asks of you that never used to beg.
No, friend, cannot you beg? Here's them in our country of Greece gets more with begging than we can do with working.
Canst thou catch any fishes then?
I never practiced it.
Nay, then thou wilt starve sure. For here's nothing to be got nowadays unless thou canst fish for it.
What I have been, I have forgot to know. But what I am want teaches me to think on. A man thronged up with cold, my veins are chill and have no more of life than may suffice to give my tongue that heat to ask her help, which, if you shall refuse, when I am dead, for that I am a man, pray you see me buried.
Die, quotha? Now gods forbid. And I have a gown. Here, come, put it on. Keep thee warm. Now afore me, a handsome fellow. Come, thou shalt go home, and we'll have flesh for holidays, fish for fasting days, and moreover puddings and flapjacks, and thou shalt be welcome.
I thank you, sir.
Hark you, my friend, you said you could not beg?
I did but crave.
But crave? Then I'll turn craver too, and so I shall scape whipping.
Why, are your beggars whipped then?
Oh, not all, my friend, not all. For if all your beggars were whipped, I would wish no better office than to be beadle. But master, I'll go draw up the net.
How well this honest mirth becomes their labor.
Hark you, sir, do you know where you are?
Not well.
Why, I'll tell you. This is Pentopolis, and our good king, the good Simonides.
The good Simonides, do you call him?
Aye, sir, and he deserves so to be called for his peaceable reign and good government.
He is a happy king, since he gains from his subjects the name of good by his government. How far is his court distant from this shore?
Marry, sir, half a day's journey. And I'll tell you, he hath a fair daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday. And there are princes and knights come from all parts of the world to joust and tourney for her love.
Were my fortunes equal to my desires, I could wish to make one there.
Oh, sir, things must be as they may, and what a man cannot get, he may lawfully deal for his wife's soul.
Help! Master, help! Here's a fish hangs in the net like a poor man's right in the law. 'Twas hardly will come out. Ha! Bots on it! 'Tis come at last, and 'tis turned to a rusty armor.
An armor, friends? I pray you, let me see it. Thanks, fortune, yet that after all thy crosses thou givest me somewhat to repair myself. And though it was mine own, part of my heritage, which my dead father did bequeath to me with this strict charge, even as he left his life, keep it, my Pericles. It hath been a shield twixt me and death, and pointed to this brace, for that it saved me, keep it, in like necessity, in which the gods protect thee from, mate, defend thee. It kept where I kept, I so dearly loved it, till the rough seas, that spares not any man, took it in rage, though calmed, have given it again. I thank thee for't. My shipwreck now is no ill, since I have here my father gave in his will.
What mean you, sir?
To beg of you, kind friends, this coat of worth, for it was sometime target to a king. I know it by this mark. He loved me dearly, and for his sake I wish the having of it, and that you'd guide me to your sovereign's court, where with it I may appear a gentleman. And if that ever my fortune's better, I'll pay your bounties. Till then, rest your debtor.
Why, wilt thou tourney for the lady?
I'll show the virtue I have borne in arms.
Why, do ye take it, and God give thee good on it.
Aye, but hark you, my friend, 'twas that made up this garment through the rough seams of the waters. There are certain condolements, certain veils. I hope, sir, if you thrive, you'll remember from whence you had them.
Believed, I will. By your furtherance I am clothed in steel. In spite of all the rupture of the sea, this jewel holds his biding on my arms. Unto thy value I will mount myself upon a courser, whose delightful steps shall make the gazer joy to see him tread. Only, my friend, I yet am unprovided of a pair of bases.
We'll sure provide. Thou shalt have my best gown to make thee a pair, and I'll bring thee to the court myself.
Then honor be but a goal to my will. This day I'll rise, or else add ill to ill.
Act 2, Scene 2, Pentopolis. Enter King Simonides with lords, attendants, and Thaisa.
Are the knights ready to begin the triumph?
They are, my liege, and stay your coming to present themselves.
Return them, we are ready. And our daughter here, in honor of whose birth these triumphs are, sits here like beauty's child, whom nature gat for men to see, and seeing wonder at.
It pleaseth you, my royal father, to express my commendations great, whose merits less.
It's fit it should be so, for princes are a model which heaven makes like to itself. As jewels lose their glory if neglected, so princes their renowns if not respected. 'Tis now your honor, daughter, to entertain the labor of each knight in his device.
Which to preserve mine honor I'll perform.
Who is the first that doth prefer himself?
Knight of Sparta, my renowned father, and the device he bears upon his shield is a black Ethiop reaching at the sun. The word, lux tua vita mihi.
Ah, he loves you well that holds his life of you. Who is the second that presents himself?
Prince of Macedon, my royal father, and the device he bears upon his shield is an armed knight that's conquered by a lady. The motto thus in Spanish, Puepue torera que prefosa.
And what's the third?
The third of Antioch, and his device, a wreath of chivalry. The word me pompai provexit apex.
What is the fourth?
A burning torch that's turned it upside down. The word qui me elite me extinguit.
Ah, which shows that beauty hath his power and will, which can as well inflame as it can kill.
The fifth, and hand environed with clouds, holding out gold that's by the touchstone tried. The motto thus, sic spectanda fides.
Ah. And what's the sixth and last, the which the knight himself with such a grace of courtesy delivered?
He seems to be a stranger, but his present is a withered branch that's only green at top. The motto, in hoc spe vivo.
A pretty moral. From the dejected state wherein he is, he hopes by you his fortunes yet may flourish.
He had mean better than his outward show can any speak in his just commend, for by his rusty outside he appears to have practiced more the whipstock than the lance.
He well may be a stranger, for he comes to an honored triumph strangely furnished.
And on set purpose let his armor rust unto this day to scour it in the dust.
Opinion's but a fool that makes us scan the outward habit by the inward man. But stay, the knights are coming. We will withdraw into the gallery.
Night.
Mean night.
Act 2, Scene 3, Pentopolis. Enter the king, Simonides, Thaisa, marshal, ladies, lords, attendants, and knights in armor from tilting.
Knights, to say you're welcome were superfluous. To place upon the volume of your deeds, as in a title page, your worth in arms were more than you expect or more than's fit. Since every worth in show commends itself, prepare for mirth becomes a feast. You are princes and my guests.
But you, my knight and guest, to whom this wreath of victory I give, and crown you king of this day's happiness.
Is more by fortune, lady, than by merit.
Call it by what you will, the day is yours, and here, I hope, is none that envies it. In framing an artist, art hath thus decreed to make some good, but others to exceed. And you are her labored scholar. Come, queen of the feast, for a daughter so you are. Take your place, marshal the rest, as they deserve their grace.
We are honored much by good Simonides.
Your presence glads our days. Honor we love, for who hates honor hates the gods above. Sir, Yonder is your place.
Some other is more fit.
Contend not, sir, for we are gentlemen have neither in our hearts nor outward eyes envies the great, nor shall the low despise.
You are right, courteous knights.
Sit. By Jove, I wonder that as king of thoughts these cates resist me, he not thought upon.
By Juno, that is queen of marriage, all viands that I eat do seem unsavory, wishing him my meat. Sure, he's a gallant gentleman.
He's but a country gentleman, has done no more than other knights have done, has broken a staff or so let it pass.
To me, he seems like diamond to glass.
Yon king's to me like to my father's picture, which tells in that glory once he was, had princes sit like stars about his throne, and he the sun for them to reverence. None that beheld him but like lesser lights did veil their crowns to his supremacy. Or now his son's like a glowworm in the night, the which hath fire and darkness, none in light. Whereby I see that time's the king of men. He's both their parent and he is their grave, and gives them what he will, not what they crave.
What? Are you merry knights?
Who can be other in this royal presence?
Here, with a cup that's stored unto the brim, as do you love fill to your mistress' lips. We drink this health to you.
We thank your grace.
Oh, yet pause a while. Yon knight doth sit too melancholy, as if the entertainment in our court hath not a show might countervail his worth. Note it not you, Thyse?
What's it to me, my father?
Tend, my daughter. Princes in this should live like gods above, who freely give to every one that come to honor them, and princes not doing so are like to gnats, which make a sound, but killed are wondered at. Therefore, to make his entrance more sweet, here, we say, drink this standing bowl of wine to him.
Alas, my father, it befits not me unto a stranger knight to be so bold. He may my proffer take for an offense, since men take women's gifts for impudence.
Oh, do as I bid you, or you'll move me else.
Now, by the gods, he could not please me better.
And furthermore, tell him we desire to know of him, of whence he is, his name and parentage.
The king, my father, sir, has drunk to you.
I thank him.
Wishing it so much blood into your life.
I thank both him and you, and pledge him freely.
And further, he desires to know of you, of whence you are, your name and parentage.
A gentleman of Tyre. My name is Pericles. My education been in arts and arms, who, looking for adventures in the world, was by the rough seas reft of ships and men, and after shipwreck driven upon this shore.
He thanks your grace, names himself Pericles, a gentleman of Tyre, who only by misfortune of the seas, bereft of ship and men, cast on this shore.
Now, by the gods, I pity his misfortune, and will awake him from his melancholy. Come, gentlemen, we sit too long on trifles, and waste the time which look for other revels. E'en in your armors, as you are addressed, will well become a soldier's dance. I will not have excuse with saying this. Loud music is too harsh for ladies' heads, since they love men in arms as well as beds. So this was well asked, 'twas so well performed. Come, sir. Here's a lady wants breathing too. As I have heard your knights of Tyre are excellent in making ladies trip, and that their measures are as excellent.
In those that practice them they are, my lord.
Oh, that's as much as you would be denied of your fair courtesy. Unclasp, unclasp. Thanks, gentlemen, to all. All have done well. But you the best. Pages and lights to conduct these knights unto their several lodgings. Yours, sir, we have given order to be next our own.
I am at your grace's pleasure.
Princes, it is too late to talk of love, and that's the mark I know you level at. Therefore, each one betake him to his rest. Tomorrow, all for speeding do their best.
Act 2, Scene 4. Tyre. Enter Helicanus and Escanus.
Know, Escanes, know this of me. Antiochus from incest lived not free, from which the most high gods, not minding longer to withhold the vengeance that they had in store, due to this heinous capital offense, even in the height and pride of all his glory, when he was seated in a chariot of inestimable value, and his daughter with him, a fire from heaven came and shriveled up those bodies even to loathing. For they so stunk that all those eyes adored them ere their fall, scorn now their hand, and should give them burial.
It was very strange.
And yet but justice. For though this king were great, his greatness was no guard to bar heaven's shaft, but sin had his reward.
'Tis very true.
See, not a man in private conference or council has respect with him but he.
It shall no longer grieve without reproof.
And cursed be he that will not second it.
Follow me then. Lord Helicane, a word.
With me, and welcome, happy day, my lords.
Know that our griefs are risen to the top, and now at length they overflow their banks.
Your griefs, for what? Wrong not your prince, the prince you love.
Wrong not yourself then, noble Helicane. But if the prince do live, let us salute him, or know what grounds made happy by his breath. If in the world he live, we'll seek him out. If in his grave he rest, we'll find him there, and be resolved he lives to govern us, or dead, gives cause to mourn his funeral, and leave us to our free election.
Whose death's indeed the strongest in the censor. And knowing this kingdom is without a head, likely good buildings left without a roof soon will fall to ruin. Your noble self, the best know how to rule and how to reign, we thus submit unto our sovereign.
Live, noble Helicane.
It is try honor's cause, forbear your suffrages. If that you love, Prince Pericles, forbear. Take I your wish, I leapt into the seas, where's hourly trouble for a minute's ease. A 12-month longer, let me entreat you to forbear the absence of your king. If in which time expired he not return, I shall with aged patience bear your yoke. But if I cannot win you to his love, go search like nobles, like noble subjects, and in your search spend your adventurous worth, whom you will find and win unto return. You shall like diamonds sit in his crown.
To wisdom he's a fool that will not yield, and since Lord Helicane enjoineth us, we with our travels will endeavor.
Then you love us, we you, and will clasp hands. When peers thus knit, a kingdom ever stands.
Act 2, Scene 5, Pentopolis. Enter the king, Simonides, reading of a letter at one door. The knights meet him.
Good morrow to the good Simonides.
Knights, from my daughter this I let you know, that for this 12 months she'll not undertake a married life. Her reason to herself is only known, which from her by no means can I get.
May we not get access to her, my lord?
Faith, by no means. She hath so strictly tied her to her chamber that 'tis impossible. 12 moons more she'll wear Diana's livery. This, by the eye of Cynthia, hath she vowed, and on her virgin honor will not break it.
Loath to bid farewell, we take our leaves.
So, They are well dispatched. Now to my daughter's letter. She tells me here she'll write the stranger night, or never more to view nor day nor light. Well, mistress, your choice agrees with mine. I like that well. Nay, how absolute she is in it, not minding whether I dislike or no. Well, I do commend her choice, and will no longer have it be delayed. Soft, here he comes. I must dissemble it.
All fortune to the good Simonides.
To you as much, sir. I am beholding to you for your sweet music this last night. I do protest, my ears were never better fed with such delightful, pleasing harmony.
It is your grace's pleasure to commend, not mine.
Sir, you are music's master.
The worst of all her scholars, my good lord.
Let me ask you one thing. What do you think of my daughter, sir?
A most virtuous princess.
And she is fair too, is she not?
It's fair a day in summer. Wondrous fair.
Sir, my daughter thinks very well of you. Aye, so well that you must be her master, and she will be your scholar. Therefore look to it.
I am unworthy for her schoolmaster.
She thinks not so. Peruse this writing else.
What's here? A letter that she loves the king of Tyre? 'Tis the king's subtlety to have my life. Seek not to entrap me, gracious lord, a stranger and distressed gentleman that never aimed so high to love your daughter, but bent all offices to her honor.
Thou hast bewitched my daughter, and thou art a villain.
By the gods, I have not. Never did thought of mine levy offense, nor never did my actions yet commence a deed might gain her love or your displeasure.
Traitor, thou liest.
Traitor?
Aye, traitor.
Even in his throat, unless it be the king that calls me traitor, I return the lie.
By the gods, I do applaud his courage.
My actions are as noble as my thoughts, that never relished of a base descent. I came unto your court for honor's cause, and not to be a rebel to her state. And he that otherwise accounts of me, this sword shall prove his honor's enemy.
No. Well, here comes my daughter. She can witness it.
Then, as you are as virtuous as fair, resolve your angry father if my tongue did e'er solicit or my hand subscribe to any syllable that made love to you.
Why, sir, say if you had, who takes offense, if that would make me glad.
Yea, mistress, are you so peremptory? Well, I'm glad on it with all my heart. I'll tame you. I'll bring you in subjection. Will you, not having my consent, bestow your loves upon, and your affections upon a stranger, who for aught I know may be, nor I can think the contrary, as great in blood as myself? Therefore, hear you, mistress. Either frame your will to mine, and you, sir, hear you, either be ruled by me, or I'll make you man and wife. Nay, come, your hands and lips must seal it too, and being joined, I'll thus your hopes destroy, and for further grief, God give you joy. What? Are you both pleased?
Yes, if you love me, sir.
Even as my life, my blood that fosters it.
What, are you both agreed?
Yes, if it please your majesty.
It pleaseth me so well that I will see you wed, and then with what haste you can, get you to bed.
Now sleep, ye slackard, hath the rout, no din but snores about the house, made louder by the o'erfed breast of this most pompous marriage feast. The cat with eyne of burning coal now couches from the mouse's hole, and crickets sing at the oven's mouth, are the blither for their drouth. Hymen hath brought the bride to bed, where, by the loss of maidenhead, a babe is moulded, be a tent. By many a dern and painful perch, of Pericles the careful search, by the four opposing coins which the world together joins, is made with all due diligence, that horse and sail at high expense can steed the quest. At last from Tyre, fame answering the most strange enquire, to the court of King Simonides are letters brought. The 10 of these, Antiochus and his daughter dead, the men of Tyrus on the head of Helicanus, would set on the crown of Tyre, but he will none. The mutiny he there hast to oppress, says to him, if King Pericles come not home in twice 6 moons, he, obedient to their dooms, will take the crown. The sum of this brought hither to Pentopolis, why ravished the regions round, and everyone with claps can sound, our heir apparent is a king. Who dreamt, who thought of such a thing? Brief, he must hence depart to Tyre. His queen with child makes her desire, which who shall cross? Along to go. Amid all their dole and woe, like Cordia their nurse she takes, and so to sea. Their vessel shakes on Neptune's billow. Half the flood hath their keel cut, but fortune moved varies again. The grizzled north disgorges such a tempest forth, that as a duck for life that dives, so up and down the poor ship drives. The lady shrieks, and well a ne'er does fall in travail with her fear. And what ensues in this fell storm shall for itself perform. I nil relate, action may conveniently the rest convey, which might not what by me is told. In your imagination hold this stage, the ship upon whose deck the sea-tossed Pericles appears to speak. Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Pericles, a shipboard.
The god of this great vast, rebuke these surges which wash both heaven and hell. And thou that hast upon the winds command, bind them in brass, having called them from the deep. Oh, still thy deafening dreadful thunders, gently quench thy nimble sulphurous flashes. Oh, how, Lycordia, how does my queen? Then, storm, venomously wilt thou spit all thyself? The seaman's whistle is a whisper in the ears of death unheard. Lycordia! Lucina, oh, divinest patroness and midwife, gentle to those that cry by night, convey thy deity aboard our dancing boat. Make swift the pangs of my queen's travails. Now, Lycordia!
Here is a thing too young for such a place, who, if I had conceit, would die, as I am like to do. Take in your arms this piece of your dead queen.
How? How, Lycordia?
Patience, good sir. Do not assist the storm. Here's all that is left living of your queen, a little daughter. For the sake of it, be manly and take comfort.
Oh, you gods! Why do you make us love your goodly gifts and snatch them straight away? We here below recall not what we give, and therein may use honor with you.
Patience, good sir, even for this charge.
Now mild may be thy life. For a more blusterous birth had never babe. Quiet and gentle thy conditions, for thou art the rudeliest welcome to this world that ever was prince's child. Happy what follows. Thou hast as chiding nativity as fire, air, water, earth, and heaven can make to herald thee from the womb. Even at the first thy loss is more that can thy portage quit, with all thou canst find here. Now the good gods throw their best eyes upon't.
What courage, sir, God save you!
Courage enough, I do not fear the flaw. It hath done to me the worst, yet for the love of this poor infant, this fresh new seafarer, it would be quiet.
Slack the bowlines there, thou wilt not, wilt thou? Blow and split thyself.
At sea room, and the brine and cloudy billow kiss the moon, I care not.
Sir, your queen must overboard. The sea works high, the wind is loud, and will not lie till the ship be cleared of the dead.
That's your superstition.
Pardon us, sir. With us at sea it hath been still observed, and we are strong in custom. Therefore briefly yield her, for she must overboard straight.
as you think meet. Most wretched queen!
Here she lies, sir.
A terrible childbed hast thou had, my dear. No light, no fire. The unfriendly elements forgot thee utterly. Nor have I time to give thee hallowed to thy grave, but straight must cast thee, scarcely coffined, in the ooze, where for a monument upon thy bones, and ere remaining lamps, the belching whale and humming water must o'erwhelm thy corpse, lying with simple shells. Oh, Lycordia, bid Nestor bring me spices, ink, and paper, my casket and my jewels, and bid Nicander bring me the satin coffin. Lay the babe upon the pillow. Hie thee, whilst I say a priestly farewell to her. Suddenly, woman!
Sir, we have a chest beneath the hatches, cockled and bitumed ready.
I thank thee, mariner. Say, what coast is this?
We are near Tarsus.
Thither, gentle mariner. Alter thy course for Tyre. Whence canst thou reach it?
By break of day, if wind cease.
Oh, make for Tarsus. There will I visit Cleon, for the babe cannot hold out to Tyrus. There I'll leave it a careful nursing. Go thy ways, good mariner. I'll bring the body presently.
Scene 2. A seashore, Ephesus. Enter Lord Cerimon with 2 suppliants.
Philemon, ho!
Doth my lord call?
Get fire and meat for these poor men. 'Tis been a turbulent and stormy night.
I have been in many, but such a night as this till now I ne'er endured.
Your master will be dead ere you return. There's nothing can be ministered to nature that can recover him. Give this to the apothecary and tell me how it works.
Good morrow.
Good morrow to your lordship.
Gentlemen, why do you stir so early?
Sir, our lodgings standing bleak upon the sea shook as the earth did quake. The very principles did seem to rend and all to topple. Pure surprise and fear made me to quit the house.
That is the cause we trouble you so early. 'Tis not our husbandry.
Oh, say you well.
But I much marvel that your lordship, having rich Tyre about you, should at these early hours shake off the golden slumber of repose. 'Tis most strange nature should be so conversant with pain, being thereto not compelled.
I hold it ever virtue and cunning were endowments greater than nobleness and riches. Careless heirs may the 2 latter darken and expand, but immortality attends the former, making a man a god. 'Tis known I ever have studied physic, through which secret art, by turning o'er authorities, I have, together with my practice, made familiar to me and to my aid the blessed infusions that dwells in vegetives, in metals, in stones, and can speak of disturbances that nature works and of her cures, which doth give me a more content in course of true delight than to be thirsty after tottering honor, or tie my pleasure up in silken bags to please the fool and death.
Your honor has through Ephesus poured forth your charity, and hundreds call themselves your creatures, who by you have been restored. And not your knowledge, your personal pain, but even your purse still open, hath built Lord Cerimon such strong renown as time shall never.
So lift there.
What's that?
Sir, even now did the sea toss up upon our shore this chest. 'Tis of some wrack.
Set down. Let's look upon it.
'Tis like a coffin, sir.
Whate'er it be, 'tis wondrous heavy. Wrench it open straight. If the sea stomach be o'ercharged with gold, 'tis a good constraint of fortune. It belches upon us.
'Tis so, my lord.
How close 'tis caulked and betombed. Did the sea cast it up?
I never saw so huge a billow, sir, as tossed it upon a shore.
Wrench it open, soft. It smells most sweetly in my sense.
A delicate odor.
As ever hit my nostril. So up with it. Oh, you most potent gods. What's here? A corse.
Most strange.
Shrouded in cloth of state, balmed and entreasured with full bags of spices. A passport too. Apollo, perfect me in the characters. Here I give to understand, if ere this coffin drives a land, I, King Pericles, have lost this queen, worth all her mundane cost. Who finds her, give her burying. She was the daughter of a king. Besides this treasure for a fee, the gods requite this charity. If thou livest, Pericles, thou hast a heart that ever cracks for woe. This chanced tonight.
Most likely, sir.
Nay, certainly tonight. For look how fresh she looks. They were too rough that threw her in the sea. Make a fire within. Fetch hither all my boxes in my chest. Death may usurp on nature many hours, and yet the fire of life kindle again the oppressed spirits. I heard of an Egyptian that had 9 hours lain dead, who was by good appliance recovered. Well said, well said. The fire and cloths, the rough and woeful music that we have, cause it to sound, beseech you. The viol. The viol once more. How thou stirrest, thou block, the music there. I pray you, gentlemen, give her air. Gentlemen, this queen will live. Nature wakes a warm breath out of her. She hath not been entranced. About 5 hours. See how she gains to blow into her life's flower again.
The heavens through you increase our wonder and sets up your fame forever.
She is alive. Behold her eyelids, cases to those heavenly jewels which Pericles hath lost, begins to part their fringes of bright gold. The diamonds of a most praised water doth appear to make the world twice rich. Live and make us weep to hear your fate, fair creature, rare as you seem to be.
Oh, dear Diana! Where am I? Where's my lord? What world is this?
Is not this strange?
Most rare.
Hush, my gentle neighbors. Lend me your hands. To the next chamber bear her. Get linen. Now this matter must be looked to, for her relapse is mortal. Come, come, and Aesculapius guide us.
Act 3, Scene 3. Enter Pericles at Tarsus with Cleon and Dionysa, and Lycordia with the child.
Most honored Cleon, I must needs be gone. My 12 months are expired, and Tyre stands in a litigious peace. You and your lady take from my heart all thankfulness. The gods make up the rest upon you.
Your shakes of fortune, though they haunt you mortally, yet glance full wonderingly on us.
Oh, your sweet queen, that the strict fates had pleased you, had brought her hither to have blessed mine eyes with her.
We cannot but obey the powers above us. Could I rage and roar as doth the sea she lies in, yet the end must be as 'tis. My gentle babe, Marina, whom, for she was born at sea, I have named so, here I charge your charity withal, leaving her the infant of your care, beseeching you to give her princely training, that she may be mannered as she is born.
Fear not, my lord, but think your grace that fed my country with your corn, for which the people's prayers still fall upon you, must in your child be thought on. If neglection should therein make me vile, the common body, by you relieved, would force me to duty. But if to that my nature need a spur, the gods revenge it upon me and mine to the end of generation.
I believe you. Your honor and your goodness teach me to, without your vows. Shall she be married, madam, by bright Diana, whom we honor? All unscissored shall this hair of mine remain, though I show ill in't. So I take my leave. Good madam, make me blessed in your care in bringing up my child.
I have one myself, who shall not be more dear to my respect than yours, my lord.
Madam, my thanks and prayers.
We'll bring your grace into the edge of the shore, and give you up to the masked Neptune and the gentlest winds of heaven.
I will embrace your offer. Come, dearest madam. Oh, no tears, Lycordia, no tears. Look to your little mistress, on whose grace you may depend hereafter. Come, my lord.
Act 3, Scene 4, Temple of Diana, Ephesus. Enter Cerimon and Thaisa.
Madam, this letter and some certain jewels lay with you in your coffer, which are at your command. Know you the character?
It is, my lords. That I was shipped at sea, I well remember, in on my bearing time. But whether they're delivered, by the holy gods, I cannot rightly say. But since King Pericles, my wedded lord, I ne'er shall see again, a vestal livery will I take me to, and never more have joy.
Madam, if this you purpose as you speak, Diana's temple is not distant far, where you may abide, till your date expire. Moreover, if you please, a niece of mine shall there attend you.
My recompense is thanks, that's all. Yet my goodwill is great, though the gift small.